Hello.
Hello there.
How's everyone doing today? That watches this later.
Yeah.
It's just us today. We're happy to be here for you guys and share a little wisdom. It's okay if everybody doesn't show up. We're just starting out still, getting everything up and running, and we know these are going to help people down the road, so
Yeah.
we'd love to share anyway.
I'm a little congested.
She did some painting the other day, and I think it gave her a bit of a sinus infection.
I was in a very dense
Yeah,
basement with no air.
yeah, non-ventilated.
I didn't even think about that. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I just wanted to help.
That's all right. But so what I was thinking about sharing today with you guys is how we tend to get lost in our spirituality and our spiritual practices quite often, not realizing that we're already spiritual. Like we don't have to work at being spiritual, which is what our spiritual practices are. They're working toward being something we already are and innately.
And then they definitely can help get us in the zone.
Yeah,
I think
not
you're
saying
talking about the
yeah,
over.
not saying that it's not that you shouldn't do it,
Yeah.
that it's not okay. It's just that we get lost in thinking that is what makes us spiritual,
Yeah.
constantly working and doing these things that are spiritual things, and that's what's holding us up here in our spiritualness, but we literally don't have to do anything to be spiritual beings. Because as most of us know, we're not human beings having spiritual experiences, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So we are here to have this humanness, to experience all the emotions, all the failures and the wins, the ego, that's all part of it, and every bit of that is spiritual in itself. Everything around you is spiritual. It's all connected. It's all one thing. We're all part of the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but like I said, a lot of us we tend to get caught up in needing to be spiritual or needing to feel like we're doing spiritual things to stay at a high vibration. Um, but we're just spiritual in nature, and we're connected to spirituality always. You can't not be spiritual. You can not be aware of it
Yeah.
um, on a conscious level.
And I think that's why I like all these books, all this stuff gets us to wake back up because we are definitely asleep, when we come here.
Because we
But
come here forgetting so that we can
yeah,
remember and learn.
but I
Otherwise, there's no
think
point.
it's like the thing of sometimes where people they learn how to do something and it becomes like a second nature and but they keep doing the same steps even though they don't need to anymore because they've learned. It's like I guess learning how to do something completely and then every time you do it though keep reading the same manual even though you like have um like the manual back and forth. You actually don't need to open the manual to do some of the things, but you do anyways. And I think that's the best way. And I think one of the things, example for me, is I did a lot of things to really get my intuition back because I had pushed it down. And now it's like I can just tap in and just listen. And it just tells me, but there's sometimes I will go back into certain things, but there's times when I know that I don't need to do a full thing or read the manual, I guess, to do it. And but
Getting caught up in the should
yeah,
or have to.
like if we yeah, there's so many different things about that. And I think we talked about it on a different call too, where we got when we were waking up and we were spending so much time in the morning doing so many things when it was like we already kind of know and kind of I think too when you do something a lot the vibration starts to become a part of you. So it's just like how somebody used to, like, I guess, smoke every day, and then they stop and they, they do the things, and all of a sudden it's been 5 years and they don't, smoke at all. It just doesn't become like a part of their life anymore. Um and so like yeah, but at one point it was. And then at one point they had to like
Basically got them through what they need.
yeah, and they had to like quit that cigarette. So it's like they had to do the things to do that. So I figure like I feel like some of the spirituality thing too here is that we do these things and we wake up, but then we think we have to continue to do them in such big vigor, even though parts of us are like, we know how to do this, has actually become a habit. It's actually, we're so awake to us being in that frequency that we have adapted the frequency, and we don't need to go so deep to bring the frequency because we have got the frequency.
Yeah.
And they're good tools to have. Like, let's say you are having a moment. Go ahead.
Those practices you can
Yeah.
refer to. But yeah, like she's saying, I think just especially in the beginning when you start, new practices, that kind of elevate your consciousness or your vibration, your awareness, it gets to a certain point, it's like you've attained it, even though it's always been there.
Yeah. You've remembered it.
Yeah, you've remembered it. And so you don't necessarily have to keep consciously doing it. You're already at that point that you just kind of hold it. You're already awake, you're aware,
Mhm.
and you're trying to force yourself to be more awake and more aware, but you're already awake and aware, You can't necessarily be more awake or more aware, um, in a sense.
Yeah.
I guess you can remember on a deeper level, but then that would take away from the human experience. You wouldn't need to be here anymore. You would just turn into a light being. I mean, I guess some of us are trying to attain that
Yeah.
in a way. That's
Fair.
with certain monks trying to attain their light body or the rainbow body, as they call it. Um, yeah, you just do these practices, and you get to a point, and you might even start feeling like, why am I even doing this anymore? Like, you don't feel like you're getting anywhere because you've gotten to where you've, I guess, wanted to at some point. You're at that point where you can look back and you're like, I didn't used to be here. Like, so you can kind of just ride it out a little bit, I guess, in a sense. Because you've already, gotten to that frequency of awareness, and then you can take that into your everyday life. It don't have to constantly practice it, but you can always come back to it
Yeah.
at any time that you feel that you genuinely need it. Because there's definitely been times where, I'm doing my morning stuff and I just don't feel like I want to or need to do a certain thing like meditate or whatever. And so I know it's okay to skip it. Like I don't have to do it.
And there's some mornings where it's like, I better sit my ass
Yeah,
down.
and or I feel like I need to. Like I know there's something that's going to come to me, um, in doing so.
Yeah. Now with me too, like with a lot of the stuff where, and I've noticed sometimes too where I'm like, spirit is literally telling me something and it's going haywire, and I'm like, I should be sitting and I should be tapping and doing all this stuff. And it's like I already know what to do. Like it's already this thing. And it's like sometimes we have these ways, and it makes sense. It's especially for star children or stuff like that. It's like we want to go home. We want to feel that. The human experience is super uncomfortable. I mean, it's so
It has its moments.
yeah, it has that thing. And then and I noticed this too, and it's hard to do that too. And then we were talking about the other call, I think one of the calls too, where it was like, well, sometimes we're so up here, and then when something, human happens or a lesson we're supposed to lose, we crash so far because we were up here without really embracing the other parts of the life that then we're like, oh God, and we're crashed down in the ground. Like, instead of floating down, we've, plummeted and broke our face open. So I think as this path goes, the discernment of what's going on. And I think anyone who listens to this would be like in the morning, it's like, and it's not a feeling of avoidance. There's a difference when you're like, you can feel, I was just feeling this last night where it was like, I feel like I'm like, I know that I'm not avoiding, but I've been told that if you don't, like, you're avoiding if you're not like deep diving all the time and not trying to do whatever. And I'm like, I literally know what's going on. I've deep dived. And so, having that as a thing of knowing that you in your body, like, no, like, I know this is not the time to do this.
Sometimes we don't have to force
Mm,
our healing or our evolution so much as we just have to live our life and allow it to happen naturally. Sometimes, it's obviously good to
yeah.
sit down and work on something when it's present,
Oh yeah. And it's
but when it's something where you're constantly like trying to hammer in, like, I gotta fix this, this is wrong with me, I need to heal this thing. Um, you're trying to force it instead
took
of
it.
allowing it to work itself out the way it's meant to happen naturally. Um, and so we get lost in the doing instead of lost in the living.
Lost in the living.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is what we're here to do. I mean, when you boil it down, that's the whole purpose of life, is to live.
That's why
It's
it's
all we
called
have to
life.
do, and we're doing it.
Yeah.
That's why we're enough. We're always enough, just by living. You don't have to do. I'm enough. That's it. That's all you got to do. You're alive. You're breathing. You're walking. You're talking. You're thinking. Whatever. You're doing it.
Yeah. It's big, yeah. But that's why it's become such a thing of the chasing enlightenment, chasing salvation, chasing afterlife, chasing the things that when that chase comes, that future tripping comes, and we forget that we're here, that we are made to be here as we are. And then we feel guilty because we haven't ripped out that piece of the thing. I remember hearing this thing about Louise Hay, and she was like 86. She was on like the tapping solution or whatever, and she's being interviewed, and she was like, I was just sitting there in the kitchen, and this thing came up from when I was like 13 or whatever. She's like, it's a constant thing. And I remember the lady from the thing, she was like, just looking at Louise Hay, being like, I'm still dealing with it, but she's like living. That was the whole thing, like living, like not letting the fact that something from when she was 13 and she's 86, like she just moved through it. And I think we have that too, where we have to get it all out. We will, if we can get it all out, we can live. And that's the trap. And that's the new age trap. That's the
Yeah,
trap.
waiting to get it all out before you start living.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, there's some things where like if both of your legs are broken, you're not going to go run a marathon. What are you going to do? You're going to heal your legs and then probably go run the marathon. So there's the steps. That's what
Yeah.
we're talking about, these steps. But once it becomes like a thing, just like a person who has broken their legs is PT, and all of a sudden they're running again. They're not going to PT 5 days a week
All day.
all day because they can run now.
Yeah.
That's all that was like the greatest example right there. Like,
And I mean, even while going, through the PT, obviously they can't do that the whole time trying to heal themselves. There needs to be the rest, and what are you going to do during the rest? You're just going to sit there and do nothing? No, you can live life. You can do other things while your body heals itself naturally.
yeah, I don't know. I think it's just, yeah, that was something that was really coming up for us towards that. And all this stuff is really good. Striving for the better.
Mhm.
And you're always finding new things. And sometimes stuff that you did in the old, like something new will come up and it'll be major and you can use that to clear that out too. It's the just keep going instead of just waiting for it to come. Sorry, but guys, my nose is just it's just so like but um yeah, I'm learning to live more, not worry so much about getting so well. And I think while I've been doing that, I've become like more enlightened because I'm stopped chasing enlightenment. Is that weird sounds in the house? And I think with you too, we've had more epiphanies and breakthroughs and forwardness and things that have happened when we stopped forcing and trying so hard to do the PT now that we know how to run with certain things, I guess. So I don't know. I'm gonna take that how it is, but I think it's just the breathing and like I'm not breathing right now, but yeah, excuse me. Like the breathing, the living, to realizing and taking I think another thing too is taking a lot of like how we high vibe ourselves
Mhm.
through this stuff, taking that into the world. Because let's say you learn something and you learn how to manage stress or something, or enlightenment. You see the things and then you can actually like go into the world and then to like the grocery store, your work or wherever and use that tool in there. And what will happen is it will raise vibration where you're at. And then people around you will see that and they can either want to raise with you or not. But either way, it's like you're starting to do that because the ultimate thing is to what raise the vibe of the universe, of the world, of the people that haven't made it as far as you, hasn't, and taking that into with reading into the world is very important too, because you're obviously a different person and you're able to navigate so you could navigate more in life, you know. So,
So I'm going to do my best to kind of paraphrase Alan Watts. So I listened to this Alan Watts book on Spotify recently. I believe it's called "Become Who You Are." If I remember correctly. But there's a lot of good, really good stuff in there. I would definitely recommend either reading it or listening to it if you can. Um, it's brilliant, but he talks in there about the fool and the sage and how there's really no difference in one or the other.
mm,
Um, the sage is no more spiritual than the fool uh, because of our innate spiritual beingness. Um, so basically, the fool, the only difference is the fool is just ignorant of his spirituality, but the fool can go through life happy as can be, being, one of the nicest people you've ever met and just caring and giving and just have no idea about spirituality whatsoever. He's just unaware of it. And then the sage can be fully aware of spirituality, constantly chasing it and get lost in it and not live his life and not be as happy as the fool, the man in ignorant bliss, as they say. Um, but also, the fool could also gain a lot from being more aware. But he doesn't necessarily have to be because we are just spiritual beings as we are. I'm no more spiritual than the rocks outside. They're part of the same source. That they're just having a different experience than me, but they're also a part of my experience. I'm a part of theirs. We're all this. It's all the same thing, whether you're the fool or the sage, and it's just about being as you are.
mm,
And that's enough.
mhm, exactly.
May not have did him full justice, but as I said, you should
Alan
definitely
Watts
check it
is
out.
really cool.
He's brilliant.
He's
He's had many years to study different religions and texts and stuff like that, and taken from what he can, and just his level of understanding consciousness in the universe and the contradictions in all of it.
yeah.
It's kind of like think about of like the game. When you say you think about the game, you lose the game kind of thing. Like if someone's like, what was it? Is that remember
Is
the
it
whole
the
thing?
game?
Yeah, it's the game. Like it's
I don't
just
know.
some random thing from back in the day. I don't know if
Yeah.
people still do it or not, but like if you ever think about the game, you lose the game. So that's kind of the same thing, where if you are trying to think about being spiritual, you're losing the spirituality instead of just being it.
Yeah. And but like I said, all this stuff, like learning about it, and it's like, okay, that resonates, and then you're just being that,
Mhm.
and then that spirituality shows others, and you could connect with the fool or whatever, and like create this beautiful thing because you're both having your human experience as spiritual beings and whatever it is. But yeah, the chasing for me is what got me, and then I'm like, am I not doing enough? I'm like, this is dumb. So just like, letting it flow in and just figuring it out and knowing when to stop, knowing when to go, trusting that inner guidance that pretty much tells you.
Trust and surrender.
Yeah,
Hardest thing to relearn.
yeah. So
You're so conditioned to not trust anything or anyone.
yeah,
Definitely don't surrender, because that's giving up. The
right. Yeah.
difference between giving up and giving in and allowing.
Just allowing shit.
Do
Like
what you can with what you can control. I go with the rest.
I'm dead.
Simple yet difficult.
Right? It's like, but with the human
Yeah.
being. So we all doing our best. I think at the end of the day, we're all doing our absolute best.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
definitely got this.
Yeah, either way, wherever you are, I am proud of you. And I know you're doing your best, just the same as me.
And
You're a
me.
mirror. I'm a mirror. I know I'm doing my best, so I know you're doing your best. That's all we can do.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's different because we're different.
We're meant to be.
Yeah.
We are all the same, but we are also individuals. That's the only way we can experience ourselves. It's the only way God or the universe can experience itself and learn about itself through us being individuals. If we were all always just the one same thing, never changing, there would be nothing to understand or learn. There'd be no experiences to be had.
Yeah. And this is the planet of experiences. This is where we came to come here and do that. So that's good.
Yeah.
I think
So I think we shared some pretty good wisdom today.
yeah. And with my nose. But yeah, no. We're just grateful to be here. Grateful to learn and keep going forward in life.
Honored to be here for you guys and to help in any way we can. But you've always got the answers. We're just a reflection.
Yeah.
Answers already inside you.
Yeah.
You got this.
Sending so much love.
Love you guys.